You don't need to be a history buff to know that on June 6, 1944, one of the largest military operations of all time took place. D-Day, Operation Overlord. Nearly 160,000 troops crossed the English Channel that day. It set the stage for the liberation of Europe from the grasp of Nazi Germany. But following D-Day, a new problem presented itself to the Allies.
Yeah, a reliable transport service was needed in order to carry the tons of supplies, food, and munitions needed to equip soldiers. Railway was not a viable option. Aircraft were being used for combat duties, and so they turned to brave and skilled truck drivers. Dante Brizill is a teacher and an author, and he is here today via Zoom to discuss the Red Ball Express. Dante, welcome to DelmarvaLife.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's start off with the name, Red Ball Express. What is the significance of that name?
So the name Red Ball Express originated years before World War II. It was actually used on freight for express rail travel in the 19th century. And then that name kind of took off again during World War II when the transportation service was needed.
So how would you describe the drivers who were part of this group?
So about 75% of the drivers were African-American soldiers. Most African-Americans had served in service and support roles during World War II. Only a few units actually saw combat. So when the supply crisis arose in the weeks after D-Day, there was a need to get supplies to the troops to the front because the French railway system was destroyed, and our armies had advanced so far and so fast, they kind of outran their supply lines. So this kind of came together last minute, and they needed transportation to bring these food, supplies, ammunition, medical supplies. So they pulled these quartermaster units kind of off duty to create the trucking service called the Red Ball Express with about 6,000 trucks. And they had a pool of men to do that who were largely African-American, and they were able to pull it off.
Were the routes dangerous?
Yeah, so, the French transportation network was in a shambles, and a lot of times these roads could only fit maybe about one truck, one-way travel at a time. So they would make their journey to the front, and then they would have to go back one way. So a lot of times they were dealing with, sabotage, maybe French civilians who needed help, who needed food, just, poor weather conditions, a lot of driving at night, German air attacks, periodically, but they persevered because they had a job to do, and these were very brave men.
Safe to say they made a huge impact, didn't they?
They certainly did because, prior to D-Day, the Allies were concerned about German counterattacks on the D-Day beaches. So they destroyed a lot of the bridges and the railroads leading up to those beaches. And then the Germans occupied the French ports, so they could not use the ports right away. So once the Allied armies and the American armies advanced across France to liberate France and the rest of Europe, they kind of outran those supplies from the beach. So they needed a way to get them there from the beach, and the Red Ball Express came through.
All right, so you have an upcoming program you're doing with the Milford Museum on this subject. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I will be back at the Milford Library with the Milford Museum sponsors this speaking series. So I will be there this Saturday on the 14th at 1 o'clock to talk about the Red Ball Express. And I look forward to seeing people there. And I will also have copies of my book on the Red Ball Express available for sale.
That's wonderful. We have all the information on our website, DelmarvaLife.com. Dante Brizill, thank you so much for taking some time for us today, and good luck with the program on Saturday.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too.